Hi everyone, so let's now focus on the arguments in favour as well as the arguments against the use of protectionism. Okay, so when it comes to using protectionism, it's likely to be introduced to improve a country's trade account or trade deficit, or more broadly, the current account position of an economy. Now, import prices will rise, and as such, consumers within the economy may well then want to actually switch, if they can, to domestically produced goods. If they can't, well, they're likely to buy less of those given import goods given their higher price and the fact that their actual disposable income has been reduced. Okay, so thereby it will likely improve the trade account and the current account position more broadly. Okay, LEDCs also may have infant industries, so manufacturing industries that they are just trying to start up, which do not have the technical know-how, the human capital skills, the actual capital goods and the experience necessary to be able to generate really big economies of scale that multinational corporations can, of course. So therefore, infant industries may need to be protected if they are to survive and become successful industries within LEDCs. Okay, it does, however, then prompt the point, when do they not become infant industries? And so when should you actually remove that protectionism? That's a deeper evaluative point. Love that. We'll look at that next time. Thus, protectionism may enable an economy to diversify. So these LEDCs, if they are protecting their infant industries, it does now mean that they can actually diversify their economy by protecting their manufacturing sector, and they can begin to move up the value-added chain, of course. So they begin industrialising behind this protection. Okay, you could also use it, of course, to protect strategic industries. So with regards to Port Talbot, when the steelworks was in the news there 2 years ago, a lot of people were actually arguing that you need to have a healthy steelworks within and have the actual resource base to be able to produce steel within an economy, because of course steel is so fundamentally important when it comes to wars. Now, is that possibly an argument there? What about Chinese and French investment in our nuclear industries? Is that correct? Is that the best means to actually utilise this? Okay, and then there's all sorts of other areas. Should foreign firms be allowed to take over British firms? Which ones should be protected, and so on. Okay, it's also, of course, about protecting jobs and supporting manufacturing industries. We've seen on the diagrammatics the massive impact that takes place as a result of international trade actually coming about. There's a big reduction in domestic production, and as such you can help support your manufacturing industry and protect those jobs. Okay, there is a downside to that, of course. Let's take a look. Okay, so first up, the big downside though is the reduced consumer surplus. You are reducing consumer surplus quite dramatically. You are furthermore reducing the disposable income of your consumers, and that is very significant. To some extent that makes it a relatively nasty policy to actually use, because you know it is going to harm your country's citizens and their standard of living. Okay, there's a loss of global efficiency as well. So we've seen that there is a deadweight economic loss as a result of using protectionism. What does that deadweight economic loss, or that loss of global efficiency, represent? Well, it reflects those businesses that are abroad that then go out of business because they cannot sell their goods at their actual price that they want to sell their goods at. The price is artificially inflated, and therefore less goods are actually purchased. That means overseas some industries have to actually leave that sector. They go bust, or they switch to production of other goods. Okay, there's an impact on the long-run dynamic efficiency of the domestic economy as well. So what is taking place is that you are actually protecting less productive, less competitive domestic producers. Is that correct? Does that send the right signal to the economy? Does that actually encourage creative destruction? Well, clearly it doesn't. It distorts that mechanism of creative destruction, and that can be a problem. Okay, retaliation from trading partners could be another clear problem here, and this may even promote a trade war. And again, turning to Donald Trump and Xi Jinping, there's been a lot of discussion regarding the policies used within China and the US. Okay, then what about WTO rules? So when countries sign up to WTO membership, World Trade Organization membership, they're really signing up to the progressive removal of tariffs and protectionist policies. So therefore, there's likely to be contradiction with these actual rules. Okay. Final point: domestic manufacturers may also face higher input costs. So what you may also be doing by actually increasing the cost of those imports is making your manufacturing firms less competitive overall. So that is another wonderful point of analysis that you can use there. Right, great stuff, guys. Thanks ever so much. See you next time.